At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. It is Monday morning, September 8th. Hey, I'm hoping you're having a good start to your Monday. And, you may have been hearing about some cooler and more unsettled weather making its way here. And indeed, it is on its way. There is some rain off the coast at the current hour. That's been slowly progressing eastward. And this is going to be that trend here for today. It's not here yet, but it will be progressing eastward and moving over Northern California over the next couple of days. And today is going to be that transition from the drier weather we've seen to it kind of moving in, kind of holding, sticking around for a few days, giving us chances for rain, some showers, some thunderstorms out there as well. Taking a look at some of the cameras out there, we're going to take a look now at what it looks like in Crescent City out there this morning. And you can see here we've got the overcast skies. No rain as of yet, but of course, that will be changing here. We have a camera here. We're looking out at Elk Country just north of Trinidad, and we are looking at, looks like some clouds, but doesn't look very ominous as far as any rain or showers or anything of that nature. We also are taking a look at what it looks like right now in Redding. You see some of the clouds that are moving in advance of the storm system itself, but overall, we're going to be looking at dry conditions here throughout the morning hours here, but it's the afternoon. It's the afternoon that we're going to be looking at some of that rain moving in. But what a beautiful shot. I mean, I don't see anybody out there this morning taking advantage of this beautiful, beautiful morning that we're going to be looking at here this morning. But of course, not everyone is maybe up and running and ready to go here. Let's go and take a look now at our headlines for today. Now, the headlines is, like I mentioned, it's going to be cool and unsettled here for this week. That's going to be the key phrase, with valley highs in the 70s, scattered showers and thunderstorms through Friday. Now, the thing is, I think the valley, your best chances will be today and tomorrow. Not everyone in the valley, by the way, but today, tomorrow, and even Wednesday. And then I think the mountains parts of the mountains will continue that chance through Friday. And then if we see a break at all at this point, it does look to be Saturday. But really, we're going to be fine-tuning and ironing out the details over the next couple of days as we do progress through the week. So those of you that are in a hurry, just want a quick look at the forecast. Here is your Krueger's Quickcast for your Monday, September 8th. Temperatures right now are on the cool side, really. Upper 50s to low 60s. Look at Willows, 56. 40 degrees for Alturas. We're at 42 in Bernie. And for the coast, you're about 51 for Eureka and Crescent City. Right now, a temperature of 56 degrees. So out the door, 8 o'clock this morning. I think it might be a little overly aggressive on the showers by 8 o'clock this morning for the coast. But sometime this morning, we're going to start to see the showers hitting the coast first. And then that will start progressing eastward here throughout the morning and in particular throughout the afternoon. There's the satellite image along with the radar, and you can see the spin of low pressure. You can see the rain that's associated with that low pressure. That's all moving in our direction. It's got a cold front associated with it, and that's behind that cold front in particular is when you really start to see things begin to destabilize. Although usually around that, along that cold front too, things can destabilize as well. I think the Storm Prediction Center is doing a pretty good job in the outlook of where most of the thunderstorms will be. I want to push that down a little bit more to the south into Red Bluff, but overall, I think it's doing pretty good. So let's take a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. We're going to take a look at the HRRR forecast model here during Krueger's Quickcast. Take a mental note if you're going to stick around for the deeper dive, because we'll compare the timing of these and the overall intensity as well. So 8 o'clock this morning, you see the timing of this. I think we may start to see some showers before the noon hour, but by around midday is when it's really starting to make its presence known. And then by the early afternoon, mid-afternoon, western Siskiyou, I think Trinity County may see some activity as well. And then we go into the late afternoon, early evening. This is when I think places like Redding, Cottonwood, really from between Redding and Red Bluff, including the city of Shasta Lake, Palo Cedro, for example, I think you'll see some showers and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm here as we go into the late afternoon and early evening. But I mean, you notice Siskiyou County does certainly have those thunderstorms as well. 8 o'clock tonight, I think it could continue into the evening hours here, especially for the north end of the valley. And then 10 o'clock tonight, that all pushes up to the north. And, you know, the thing is, overnight, I'd say Siskiyou County will probably still be looking at showers and thunderstorms. And then that may eventually work its way into, I'd say, Modoc County late tonight as well. All right, so here's the best chances for thunderstorms today. You can clearly see where they are, mainly Red Bluff to the north in the valley. And then east of the valley, say eastern Shasta, the mountains of eastern Shasta and Tehama County as well. But I think I think Corning, Chico, Willows, Oroville, Paradise, most likely staying dry today. I don't think you're going to see anything until possibly tonight, but I'd say probably more like tomorrow. And then, of course, Modoc County, I've got you dry as well, and the eastern mountains dry. But again, keep in mind, I'd say late in this evening tonight, Modoc County may get in on the action, and then eventually Lassen and Plumas counties. So for tonight, you got temperatures upper 50s to around 60 in the valley, 40s and 50s for the higher elevations. No big surprises there, about the same. It may be a little bit cooler tomorrow morning than it is this morning because by then the cold front will have passed. So you can see the thunderstorm chances for today through Wednesday in Redding and Red Bluff. Chico, again, you're going to have a hold off until Tuesday, Wednesday. And again, it's area of low pressure. It's slowly moving in our direction. And so as it continues to move to the east, it will be over us at a certain point, and then to the east of us at a certain point, and then eventually far enough away from us that at least the valley won't see any activity here by the end of the week. But for the coast, you've got showers and possible thunderstorms today and tomorrow, even Wednesday. That's also the case inland. But by Thursday, I think the inland and the coast will most likely dry things out. However, you look at this, you go, wow, that is a lot of activity. I think the chances for thunderstorms are there. I would say that as we get toward Friday, the chances will be slimmer. And then Saturday at this point looks dry with yet maybe another round of showers and thunderstorms by Sunday. And really, again, you look at the mountains, right? Siskiyou County through Friday. Again, probably, you know, it may not be every day. I'd say, again, as we go into Friday in particular, chances do slim down. And then Saturday, a bit of a break possibly, and then Sunday. So you'll notice Modoc County, eastern mountains, mainly dry today, but by tomorrow, I think that will be a bit of a different story. All right, let's take a look at your fire weather forecast, and sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. I'm going to go up to the wall for this, but before we do that, I do want to show you an image of the satellite. And you can see the activity coming in from the Blue Fire and the Dillon Fire. It certainly was active before sunset, but then shortly after sunset, you can see it wasn't nearly as active, maybe flaring up a little bit overnight in the Blue Fire, but you can see here the Dillon Fire, the one that's kind of to the south and west of that, or should I say to the bottom one, the lower one that you're looking at here. The lower one is the Dillon Fire, and that wasn't quite as active, but still flaring up a little bit. That Blue Fire, as you get closer to the Oregon state line there, that one flared up a little bit here in the overnight hours. So kind of interesting kind of looking at that. Just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on what that's looking like here. So let's take a look at the fire tracker, and this is the satellite detected activity here, and this is where most of the activity has been. You know, you think about when I'm reporting on the fires all last week, it's mainly these three fires. The Dillon Fire, the Blue Fire, and the Log Fire have been the most active, and so far over the weekend have been the most active as well. So, I mean, overall, we're going to continue to probably see that, although we are seeing some improvement, and the conditions are improving with that overall coverage. I seem to be having a little bit of a problem here with my map, so give me a second here while I kind of reset things here and get things ready to go. There it is, and let's see if this map will advance to the root fire, which, yes, indeed it will. I mean, computers, right? All right, so here we go. This is what the root fire is looking like as of September 6th, right? This was at 5:57 p.m. That's the latest report we're getting in from the root fire. We're still at about 719 acres, 60% containment. To kind of give you an idea, this has really been what I've been reporting all last week. Just a little over 9 miles from Mount Shasta City. We still have that evacuation warning for that fire. Meanwhile, we take you out to the Dillon Fire. Now, as of last night, 11,813 acres, so just under 12,000 acres, but we are definitely seeing some good containment, and a lot of that containment is right here. So Cottage Grove doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to worry about when it comes to that fire spreading to the north and east, because again, that's where that containment line is, and things are looking better there. Looking at the overall activity, again, remember when we were looking at the satellite image, you could see it flaring up in the evening, but then overnight, not as much activity. So you can see some of the oranges. The orange squares indicate that that's activity that was detected 12 to 24 hours ago. I want to show you now, looking at the blue fire, this is where we certainly have seen a little bit more activity here as of yesterday, 3 p.m. yesterday, 3,491 acres. You can see some of the latest satellite detected activity. This is some of the flare-ups, some light flare-ups we saw overnight, and it's mainly been on the west side and south side of the fire. See these red squares? That's about, say, anywhere from 6 to 12 hours old. So again, that's where most of the activity has been. You can see it's about 1.2 miles from Side Valley. Meanwhile, I mean, we have kind of a very rural area here, the log fire at 1,122 acres, unfortunately in the 0% containment line or category here. But you can see here, it's just outside of the perimeter here on the west side here that we are seeing some of the most recent activity coming in from the log fire. So most likely the new fire perimeter that we get from that one is going to show it kind of growing down off to the south and to the west here. Again, 0% containment at about 1,122 acres. All right, let's take you now out to the Lick fire. This is it right here, and that's at about 95% containment, 36 acres, but no reports coming in since Saturday. Then you can also take a look at the Peak fire. Now, this one, you know, I've been really kind of focusing on the fact that it's really been on the face of that mountain, but it's been growing uphill, now kind of on the summit of that peak here. So as of yesterday afternoon, 504 acres at about 75% containment. You can see the overall distance from these communities hasn't changed much. This, to me, I can't confirm it, but based on the, you know, the overall characteristics that we're seeing out of this, this looks to me like a bit of a fire operation. So that is kind of along that ridge. The firefighters actually intentionally burned that area, controlled burn obviously, and what that does is as the fire moves northward, the theory is that it butts up against the area that they burned. There's no fuel for the fire to continue to burn, so that's where, you know, hopefully we can get that fire to stop. Meanwhile, you can see it kind of moves off to the north and west as well, 13.8. Didn't see any recent activity coming from that fire, by the way. Here's a look at the Cedar fire, 91 acres as of yesterday evening, 95% containment here that we're looking at that fire here. So we are definitely getting closer to that containment here with the Cedar fire. 91 acres. There you can see Peanut. There you can see Hayfork, about 10 miles from Hayfork, and that hasn't changed really since I've been reporting on this fire either. Meanwhile, I want to take you up to the north now here, and we're going to take you up to the Big Cliff fire. No reports coming out of this fire since the 29th of August, just under 1,000 acres as of the latest report. Don't know for sure where it is at the current time. And again, that latest report is at about 75% containment. All right, so that's a look at the current fire situation, right? You can see here the winds are not that much of an issue here this morning, but by the afternoon, your typical standard, you know, breezy, borderline gusty winds by the afternoon, and then they die down tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, a little breezy. We're going to keep that trend here going into your Wednesday. You'll also notice, especially in the afternoon hours, some of these areas of gusty winds. That's areas where we could see those thunderstorms develop as well. So unfortunately, some gusty winds coming out of these thunderstorms when they develop here. But there you can see the fire weather risk is actually dropping, and that's because we do have rain in the forecast, humidity is a lot higher, and the temperatures are certainly a lot lower as well. So that really does help to reduce that fire weather risk. All right, take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning, and absolutely gorgeous looking out there at Lake Oroville, North Forebay this morning. Looks like you can see, oh, by the way, I think it was the blood moon last night. So if you had a chance to check that out, I'd love to see some of your photos. Send them from the Free Weather NorCal app. But that's looking out at Lake Oroville, North Forebay this morning. This is in Main Street, Chico on Highway 32. Looks like someone patiently waiting to make a left turn, and the light turned green for them. You can see the line of traffic coming in on Highway 99 at Neil Row, but nothing unusual with that typical traffic. Looks like it's still flowing along there. This is Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. We are taking a look at that, and looks like things are in pretty good shape as far as traffic is concerned, and no traffic delays there. Of course, that's what it looked like at the satellite image here. But we're going to take a see what it looks like on the coast here this morning, and again, beautiful. Now we're actually starting to see some colors coming out of those clouds here, and those are clouds looking to the west. And I always forget that phrase. I'm not even going to attempt it because I'm drawing a complete blank, but it's something about sailor's delight or something like that. But I don't know. If you remember, let me know. But there you go. There you can see that sunrise there turning out to be a gorgeous, gorgeous shot here. We've got the clouds that are moving in here from the west. Those clouds will eventually drop some rain. Wouldn't that be wouldn't that be? It is going to be a beautiful sight for us. Let's take a look now at Elk Country, just north of Trinidad. And we do have a nice shot there this morning here. You can't really see a whole lot. A lot of times any clouds that we get on that, the camera has a hard time with that. And those clouds tend to get washed out a little bit here. We're now going to go ahead and take a look at... yeah, out there at Turtle Bay Bridge. This is coming in, or it's Turtle Bay, Sundial Bridge. This is the camera off Turtle Bay there. But you can see, it looks like someone, if you look off in the distance there on the bridge, you can see someone is enjoying this cooler weather out there this morning, turning out to be a good one indeed. I definitely would want to be out there this morning. With this beautiful weather that we have here. Let's go and take a look at Bald Hill West camera here, and you can see some of the clouds coming in from the west. This is looking down at the Hoopa area, turning out to be a gorgeous shot out there this morning. Getting a report that it was smoky on the coast yesterday. Well, it's probably coming in from the Dillon fire, spreading a little bit to the west. But there you can see this is looking out at Soto Ridge. Again, a lot of the clouds that are moving in advance of that next storm system. So, I mean, this is kind of that indication and that confirmation that it's all coming in. Looks like we have a little bit of fog this morning out in the Scott Valley area. You can kind of see there in the middle of your screen in that valley, you can see some of the low clouds that we have out there. But overall, you're looking at clear skies, not necessarily clear skies, we'll call it partly cloudy, and a gorgeous sunrise coming out of many of those clouds as well. All right, well, that's going to do it for your Krueger's Quickcast and latest on the fires. Let's go ahead and take a look at, well, our sponsor, and that's made possible by Coffee with Krueger, that is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. Before we get to that here, let's take a look at some of your comments out there this morning. And we do have Lisa Stevens, the first to check in this morning, saying, happy Monday and have an amazing week, everyone. We'll certainly appreciate that. And on YouTube, we've got someone from Humboldt.life.707 saying, good morning, NorCal. Also was the one that I was mentioning earlier, saying that it was smoky on the coast yesterday. So again, yeah, that's not out of the question, especially when we got those fires in western Siskiyou County. That smoke most likely decided to kind of migrate to the west here, making for some smoky skies out there this morning. And we've got Catherine Schmidt saying, red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. There you go. Thank you, Catherine. Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. And that's what you would want to say about this camera. Let's see if we can find it. Here we go. That's what you want to say about this camera, right? So, red sky. There's the red sky in the morning. Sailors take warning. Red sky in the morning. So, yeah. Sailors take warning because, yes, we've got rain and even some thunderstorms that are going to be working on in. So that phrase is certainly something that can be taken into account this morning. And then, yes, the red skies at night, sailors delight. So that means they're looking off to the east, right? And if they see the red skies, that means the storm is off to the east. And the storms usually here in Northern California move from west to east. So it would be moving out. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Catherine, for that reminder of that phrase. I just couldn't remember it. We've also got Curtis Brown saying, good morning, Mike and everyone. Looking like a nice week. Great for some outside work. And yeah, and hopefully you might even get a little wet. But when those lightning strikes do come out, it's always a good idea to make sure that you go on inside. All right, let's get to our deeper dive forecast. But before we do that, I need to mention our sponsor one more time. At Wind River, Resort and Casino enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Thanks to Wind River for their support. All right, let's take a look at that radar again, and you can see that rain is coming in from the west, and indeed we are already starting to see some of the lightning strikes associated with that. So when we're looking at the camera in Crescent City, you see the clouds that are moving in advance of this storm system and of that rainfall, and that, of course, is where we're looking at that rain coming in later this morning and afternoon. Low 50s, low to mid 50s in the coast right now. Valley about 60, give or take. 40 degrees for El Turris, 48 degrees in Susanville. You can see Bernie about 42 degrees this morning. With that low pressure system is really the main cause of the cooler and unsettled weather we're seeing here today and tomorrow and even Wednesday. This low pressure system will be impacting our weather. It's a slow moving system, so it will be impacting our weather over the next several days. So I think the Storm Prediction Center is doing a pretty good job here. I want to take this and bring it down to at least Red Bluff, but I think, working its way into northeastern Shasta, I'd even want to bring in some later this evening for eastern Tehama County. And I think Modoc County will eventually this evening as well maybe see some activity. For tomorrow, widespread showers and thunderstorms, I think, across the region here. I do think the coast could see some of those thunderstorms as well. This is the same situation on Wednesday. You can see it doesn't change much. So let's take a look at Futurecast. And, the timing of both the HRRR and the Futurecast is taking a while before anything gets here, as you can see here. But I do think that by the time we get into the late morning, early afternoon hours, the coast will start to see some of these showers. Now, the thunderstorms do look to be kind of developing and flaring up here pretty quickly here with Futurecast. Now, I do think it might be what I call over-convecting. That is kind of overdoing it on just how intense these thunderstorms may look. But that being said, I'd say by about between 3 and 5 o'clock this afternoon, we'll start to see some of those showers and maybe some thunderstorms developing. I'd say mainly around Red Bluff, northward. Corning, I think you might be borderline of maybe seeing some of that activity here. 6 o'clock this evening, there's more activity around Redding and Red Bluff, but the bulk of the activity at this point looks to be north into northern Shasta, Siskiyou County, and over northern Humboldt and Del Norte counties as well. But overall, not a lot of activity here for Modoc, Lassen, or Plumas counties. Now, as we go into the overnight hours, 8 o'clock, we're still maybe seeing some leftover activity in parts of the valley, maybe even some leftover lightning strikes. And we also have that activity in the north and east of the valley. Modoc, Lassen, Plumas counties, once again, still not seeing a lot of activity, but you can see as we go into the overnight, maybe a stray shower developing, especially in Modoc County. But even midnight, maybe some leftover cloud cover and some sprinkles and light showers for parts of the valley. Still a little bit of leftover activity here as we go into the morning hours. Midday Tuesday, we start to see those thunderstorms begin to flare up. Now we're getting that area of low pressure almost on top of Northern California. So we're going to see the spin around the main area of low pressure here. So what we're going to start to see happen is, you see how that's moving to the north, this is moving to the west, this is moving to the south, and the storm system itself, the low pressure, is moving very slowly to the east, and that's why we're starting to see it make its way into the south here around Red Bluff, Corning, and Chico. You'll see it doesn't look to be quite as active maybe for Redding, and based on this model, that would indicate that maybe we won't even see anything on Tuesday for Redding, but I'm still keeping that chance in there nonetheless. 10 o'clock on Tuesday, we get a bit of a break, and now the storm system is beginning to push off to our east, so we're going to be looking at the activity coming in from the northeast and then kind of working its way in. So you can see here, maybe some activity developing by midday Wednesday for Trinity County, west of the valley, north of the valley, and east of the valley as well. I don't think by this point the coast or even many of the inland areas will see much activity, if anything. I think most of it will be to the east of Del Norte and Humboldt counties, but you can see the thunderstorms popping up for the mountains, but even the valley seeing some activity here. Now, with the way that this is all working, we're seeing the thunderstorms popping up, and then they kind of push eastward around that flow. We may have a harder time really kind of getting some showers or thunderstorms down to the south, places like Butte County. but I'm still keeping that chance in the thunderstorms there as well. Take these numbers with a grain of salt. I'm just pushing it here through Wednesday. When you're looking at scattered, isolated showers and thunderstorms here, you can't really pinpoint exactly how much rainfall you're going to get out of a lot of these storms because you don't exactly know where they're going to form or develop. But the overall trend is showing that the main footprint for the heaviest rainfall will be north and west of the valley, as we typically do see with these types of storms here. So that's going to take you all the way through Wednesday. Keep in mind, we've got more potential thunderstorms for Thursday and maybe even Friday for the mountains. Wetter than normal conditions, that does include Northern California, and there it is, the overall pattern here, very active. There's the area of low pressure by tomorrow. There's the area of low pressure now off to our east. Remember I was talking about you get that flow coming around the back side of that area of low pressure. This cooler air is beginning to moderate as it moves eastward. Temperatures are warming up by the end of the week and into the weekend as well. This is the next system that could be impacting our weather by the second half of this upcoming weekend. So here's your 10-day trend. Look at those temperatures in the valley. We're talking upper 70s. It's kind of funny. I was hanging out with my son yesterday, and he says, when did the weather just get so nice? I said, well, as of this weekend. And that's when, of course, he pulled up the Weather NorCal app and was checking out that 7-day forecast. Like, wow, this is going to be nice. You know, he's training for cross country. So when you've got temperatures in the 70s, that's really nice. Although I will warn you that as we do get into the afternoon and evening hours, if you do have any outdoor events with sports, in particular with the kiddos, make sure you keep a close eye on any lightning strikes because you may need to cancel those if we start seeing those thunderstorms develop. All right, in the meantime, take a look at those lake levels once again. Typically, you look at the overall capacity and it can look a little depressing because we like to see them nice and full, right? But we need to use that water through the summer season. So we look at this number. And as long as we can keep that above 100%, we are in good shape, which indeed we are. Taking a look at the wave heights, looks like we're going to keep them fairly low. So really no small craft advisories, but just take note, if you are going to be on these small boats, you may be dealing with those thunderstorms over the ocean as well. So just be aware of that. So showers, and as I mentioned, maybe even a few thunderstorms here for today and possibly even into tomorrow as well. There you can see your waves out of the west at 2 feet at about 10 seconds. All right, so here is your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. Starting off with Trinity County here for today. Now, again, this looks pretty ominous. You look at this, wow, every single day, thunder. Not necessarily. The chances start to diminish the closer we get to the end of the work week, because by Saturday, I think at this point, we'll see a bit of a break, and then Sunday, a chance for more showers and possible thunderstorms. So again, looks really ominous, looks really bad, but keep in mind as we get closer to the end of the week, those chances are diminishing. Here's your Dignity Health North Coast neighborhood forecast. So notice we still have a chance for showers there on Wednesday, right? But then by Thursday, Friday, I'm taking it out entirely for the North Coast. Ferndale, 68, 70 degrees in Fortuna. Could be looking at some thunderstorms here today and tomorrow. 82 degrees for Willow Creek, 81 for Hoopa, 68 for Blue Lake. So yeah, I mean, outside of us talking about the showers and thunderstorms, I mean, look at these temperatures. Very pleasant. 78 degrees out towards Orleans, 70 in Gasquet. And then there you can see, of course, it dries out by Thursday, Friday, and most likely at least through the first half of the weekend. Your Dignity Health Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, temperatures in the 70s. Absolutely gorgeous with that continued chance for thunderstorms, possibly through Friday. But as I mentioned, those chances are going to be much slimmer by the time we get to the end of the week. Central and eastern Siskiyou County, I think we can see a bit of a break here as early as possibly Friday, but especially Saturday, and then more activity coming in on Sunday. Here's your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures today are going to be in the 70s. You can see dry today, but by this evening tonight, maybe some showers. Better chances for thunderstorms Tuesday through possibly Friday, and then dry possibly on Saturday and Sunday. Keep in mind the timing, the intensity of all of these storms are going to be ironed out day by day. This is one of those weeks where you really do need to keep a close eye right here at Weather NorCal as I continue to update with the latest data throughout throughout the day, morning, noon, and in the evening right here at Weather NorCal. All right, so there you can see Lake Almanor and Lassen Park, where you can see some of those thunderstorm chances through at least Friday. That's also the case for Susanville. However, you'll notice in Paradise, I'm taking those chances out by Thursday, Friday, and nothing today for you in Paradise either. It's Tuesday and Wednesday when I think Paradise you'll see the best chances for those thunderstorms. We take you out your Dignity Health Valley neighborhood forecast, and look at this, temperatures in the low 80s for your daytime highs. We're normally in the mid 90s for your daytime highs in the valley, so we're more than 10 degrees below normal. Temperatures in the upper 70s by Tuesday, Wednesday, almost a 20-degree spread here from our normal temperature. There's the chance for thunderstorms for Chico tomorrow and Wednesday. And then by Thursday, Friday, those chances diminish. Up to the north, I think you've got chances for Red Bluff northward into the city of Shasta Lake, Palo Cedro, Whiskeytown, Lakehead, all seeing that chance for thunderstorms off and on through Wednesday. By Thursday, Friday, it does dry out, and Saturday as well. And then maybe some showers entering the picture here by the time we get into Sunday as well. So for Redding, yeah, you get a chance for showers and thunderstorms today. It's also the case for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then you can see here, it looks like drying out. Warming up a little bit here too for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but then another slight dip under temperatures by Sunday with that chance for showers. So yeah, I mean, it's looking absolutely gorgeous out there. I mean, I don't think we can really beat this kind of weather. Absolutely gorgeous. You know, obviously thunderstorms, there's going to be a lot of water and rain associated with these storms, so dry lightning is going to be less of a concern, but I will say this, always, 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 this time of the year, I don't care how much rain is associated with these storms, you can get lightning strikes outside of the actual thunderstorm itself, and that's why dry lightning can be a concern. But I think about the thunderstorms we did see on Saturday, which, by the way, on Saturday in Trinity and Western Siskiyou County, as of right now, not getting any reports that look to be lightning-caused fires. So that's a good sign. When we did see the lightning strikes we saw on Saturday afternoon, it didn't, at least as of right now, as of 2 days later, not getting any reports of any new fires caused by those lightning strikes. So I would say this, that yes, we do have lightning strikes in the forecast, really almost all week long, especially in the mountains. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the fire danger is going to be really, really high. I do think there will be some rain associated with all of these storms, but as I mentioned, you've always got that potential for lightning to spark miles away from the main core of rain itself, and that's typically where we can start running into issues. All right, so that's going to do it for us this morning. What are you doing out what you got going on this week? Looks like we've got I don't know how many events we've got going on here, but some wet weather, that's an event, right? So that's going to do it for us this morning. I hope you have yourselves a great start to your work week. It's going to be a dry start. Maybe get out there and get some work done, maybe before you have to deal with some of the wet weather here later on today and the rest of the week as well. And enjoying that cooler weather. I know I'm going to get out there and go for a run this morning. Absolutely gorgeous. You can't beat that. So let's take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning and see what's going on. And in the meantime, we're going to leave you this morning here. And you can always check the latest forecast on weathernorcal.com, the free Weather NorCal app, the 24-hour streaming channel on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, anywhere YouTube is available, including your smart TV. And you can always check right on social media. That's going to do it for us today. Have yourselves a great Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger.